Hey, it's Rion Freeberg with futureproofbusiness.com. Let's go into some more about interdependence and business and why this is so important to understand. So let's talk about advanced interdependence. I really recommend, as an entrepreneur yourself, to read the book The Power Principle by the late Blaine Lee. This is a really amazing book that it's not the sexiest topic, talking about the relationships of power and influence, but it gives you such a conscious understanding into power and influence, persuasion, and how so many things work. So I've been teaching professionally on it in a paid program for 67 months, serving the people I've had on that membership program called Relational Mastery. And I really was able to dig into ridiculously advanced levels of interdependence and the type of relationship that you can have with society, with media, and on the different levels of consciousness, so you can serve your people to heal them, to transform them, to take them to higher levels. So let's talk about advanced economic interdependence as it relates to you and your business. So by understanding this, not the sexiest topic, but it'll get you sexier results. Why is this important? Advanced interdependence. There was another video where I talked about the basics of business is really economic interdependence, where you're exchanging value. So money for products or services. And that's the very basic level. You could call it transactional interdependence. You give your $3.50 to the hot dog vendor, you get a hot dog in return, you know? So beyond that, as an information marketer or a future-proof thinking entrepreneur, how do you take interdependence to the higher levels? It's really to see how you can bring in transformational value. So you can take the relationship you have with your client from one of transactional value or a basic win-win really into the higher levels of relationship, the higher levels of service to them. So this is where things get really exciting, because it breaks the boundaries of how most people think about business and serving their clients that are popular in the West. So when you see the other videos, we talk about spiritual alignment. And what that means is knowing the future evolution of your client and the market and bringing that value to them now. The thing is, a lot of people see there's a cap on their market or they can't go beyond that. Well, when you get in spiritual alignment, spirituality really being the higher consciousness, and you're in business to resolve problems. And that's what spirituality really is higher consciousness. Albert Einstein said you can't resolve a problem at the same level of consciousness it was created. Ultimately, business is spiritual. So your business is really a vehicle for that greater value to resolve people's problems in the different areas of their life, in their self, and in the way that you do it. So where interdependence comes in here is when you understand that you can get your business in spiritual alignment, so then you see the future path, the ultimate, like 100 years from now, evolution of your client and your market. You can start bringing them that higher level value now. So you can actually evolve the relationship you have with your client from one of wherever you're at now to the higher levels of relationship. So beyond just a win-win relationship, you're really breaking the boundaries spiritually into the more advanced levels of consciousness that is available. So interdependence is a win-win relationship. It's founded on respect. So how can you really build that foundation? Is get in spiritual alignment. So where it gets advanced is then seeing how, as the content provider, the entrepreneur yourself, how can you service your people on a higher level of relationship where you can keep charging them more and more money. So you're really starting economically with exchange of value, and you really build it to the higher levels transformationally. So you want to start asking questions like, to get into advanced interdependence or just a higher level relationship with your customer, an awakening relationship, how do I resolve their problems on the mental, sexual, spiritual, emotional, and even physical levels? What are the things I'm doing to evolve them in those areas of self? Because a lot of marketers will see the basics, okay? Let's sell. A lot of marketers are sell to sell instead of, it seems like, really selling to serve and uplift their people. There's a lot, they're out there to sell to sell. So there's the economic interdependence of the transaction. But where it gets really advanced here is, how interdependent are you in servicing your client? What's the relationship you have with healing and resolving your client's sexual, emotional, spiritual, mental, and physical issues? Because some of the marketers who are selling to sell, they have the economic interdependence down, but the relationship they have with their client and their client's consciousness and the market's consciousness is, well, actually, we're kind of manipulating you in a win-lose relationship to get you to buy something emotionally and sexually. So as the markets evolve, you want to look at interdependence and that win-win founded on respect relationship in everything about your marketing. So am I marketing and selling and behaving in integrity across the board? So it's not just the financial part, it's mentally, sexually, spiritually, emotionally, and physically in your client. Do you have an interdependent win-win relationship and evolving? I really care to evolve this person on that level, because if you still are selling to sell and you have a win-lose relationship with a client's emotional or sexual consciousness to keep them in the cycle they're in, that's not really interdependence. So you got to look on the different levels of consciousness in serving your client. That, when you clear and reframe your relationships, the true respect and integrity interdependently in all areas of their self, to really care about evolving them and bringing those solutions, then you'll be able to have the higher end back end products and services, because the clients will feel and know that there's no resistance in their emotional or sexual consciousness, that you're not just selling to sell them, but really actually caring about evolving them and giving them solutions in that relationship you have with them, which you really want to be an awakening relationship if you want to be future-proof and thinking long-term. So the basics of economics is interdependence, transactional interdependence, money in exchange for products and services. Where the future is going is people are evolving, markets are evolving, and your buyers are becoming sharper. And they're becoming more aware, and we can see this in different markets, where some marketers really are kind of having that interdependence economically, but it's more of that win-lose, kind of manipulate your emotional and sexual state to get you to buy. Then we're not really delivering in the back end of really giving that resolution to evolve them out of the cycle they're in. As people evolve, they're going to become more aware of this. Like, something doesn't feel right with their heart and soul in how you're selling to them. If you're one of those types in a market that's at a point where they're evolved enough to sense and realize that. The buyers in the future, as markets evolve, are going to buy from people who are really giving them the opportunity to evolve, who really care about them, who evolve them on their heart, mind, sexiness, body, and soul levels. So what kind of interdependent relationship, or not, what kind of relationship do you have with your clients and your prospects on each of those levels of consciousness? So you want to look at it that way, beyond the basics of transactional interdependence and the economical relationship. What is your relationship sexually, emotionally, spiritually in resolving their problem, and then ascending them into higher levels of service to take them to another level? So this is really about the lifetime value of your customer, really evolving them and serving them. That's where the future is going. So I love this topic of interdependence. It's not the sexiest, but I'm so experienced in this area and been teaching it for years, And you really want to become conscious of that. And what is your relationship to your clients in how you're selling and serving them? And take it to the higher levels so you can really transform their lives, have a greater impact, and be able to make a lot more money yourself as an entrepreneur. So go to futureproofbusiness.com and you can take all of this further by taking our 5-part future-proof business assessment. So go ahead, futureproofbusiness.com, and just sign up and you can get that 5-part business assessment kit, and we'll talk to you later.